All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and even hit the thanks button. Now the algorithm is happy. Let's see who's up first. See, Steve got in first. I don't know how you do it, man, but I appreciate you doing it. So I'll let everybody try and come in the room. It's been a busy day, another long one. A bunch of cuts. We're just getting started on all that. So those of you who are watching this chat on replay later, because quite a few people do, please consider hitting the share button so that I don't have to beg for money all the time. It's that dollar sign below me. And I do appreciate everybody who helps support doing this because it takes time and I appreciate people doing it. Also, even though this isn't the greatest, but we got a new edition of Command Post coming out. And this is the cover. It's a little cropped, but anyway, Josh Harris made our cover. It went to press today. So the season opening edition is there. If you'd like to subscribe to the magazine, 24 pages, comes out here and there. You can go to Get the Command Post right there on the board.com and you hit the code, put in Rick. I appreciate that. And you can get your own copy and it'll be in your mailbox later this week. So we just got it printed. And like all NFL papers that are left, there's only like half dozen left. I think the group I work with mostly owns them. It's been tough, on these teams, like everybody else in the media. So we appreciate people subscribing. If you're a Commanders fan, you will enjoy the paper. All right, first question up. Howdy, Steve, and Michael's here. Thank you. Now I'm revisionist. What do you think about Navy's chances for a bowl this year? Well, after seeing just a little bit of the Notre Dame game, I don't think they're going to go to any bowl this year. Too bad. I'm a Maryland guy, so I support Navy. But I don't know. They've been having some tough times the last couple of years. So, you sit there and go, why do you play it? Well, I used to cover Navy as a beat guy many, many years ago. We had these press conferences on Tuesdays. The admirals would come because they used to serve these big steaks. So all the big brass would come. And finally, somebody asked them, why do you guys play, Notre Dame every year? You never win. And the coach looks over to an admiral, and the admiral goes, $1.2 million. So at least he was honest. I mean, I don't know what they get now, more than that. But he was being honest, that, hey, the money's great. We can use it. I thought that's kind of interesting, given that you're a military institution and you're supported by the federal government, unlike, independent colleges. But, that's what happened. Steve asked, can Navy players get NIL money? I don't know. That's a good question, being that they're in the military. I want to say no, but I've never had anybody ask me that question. And I don't cover Navy anymore, so I can't say much about what's going on. Just watch them a little bit like anybody else. Cuts today. So if you haven't caught up to them, they did put their fourth round pick, offensive tackle Braden Daniels, in the IR. And because they put him on IR before the 53 man is set, he's gone for the year. They weren't going to use him anyway. So it turned out he had a rotator cuff problem before camp even started. Nobody talks about. So that's what happened to him. And we'll go down to the cuts real quick. The only big one, if you want to say a big one, is Jared Patterson was cut. I thought maybe he made the roster, but guess not. Marcus Kemp, I thought he had a good camp, wide receiver. He got cut. Also, wide receiver Zion Bowers. And then the only offensive lineman, Aaron Montiero. The rest were on defensive cuts today. Safety Farrah Gardner, tackle Isaiah Mack, cornerback DJ Sturgis, safety Joshua Kalu, defensive tackle Anthony Montalvo. Barely saw some of these guys. Cornerback DeMarcus Fields, defensive end Joshua Pryor, linebacker Milo Effler. Okay, you knew that name. So that's who's there now. Now, they still got to cut about another 24 guys, I think, by 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And then everybody can start working on practice squad guys. The reason you wait until tomorrow, some of these guys, partly they cut you a break and let you go today to try and get a jump on the flood. There's like 1,100 players going to get cut in the next 24 hours. giving you a chance to get to first dibs for another team, maybe. And it does help a little. But if anybody you want to keep like on the practice squad, you don't cut them today because you don't want teams to have 24 hours of shot at them. You want to try and sneak it in at the wire, everything blows through, and then you try and grab for your own practice squad. So it's strategic there. That's why it's going over 2 days. This is the first year they've done a massive one cut only thing where you're cutting 37 people. So it's a lot of people. All right, ZZ, first week on watch in years. Okay, great. Finally moved on from the last owner. So yeah, that's pretty much a lot. I think the Cincinnati game, my best guess was there was about 20,000 people there. Hottest blazes, Saturday night. Um, Nobody thought anybody was going to play to go watch it. Um, you know, the thing they do now is they put on their paid attendance so that people like me can't make fun of them for lying anymore. I don't know. Maybe it was paid attendance. That I have no way of knowing. I can only tell you how many butts are in the seats, and it might have been 20,000. I might be rounding up. But on really hot nights, a lot of people who are in those club seats, they sit inside and watch on TV. Um, you can sit inside in your own house and watch the game and not have to pay $250 a seat. But whatever, it's your money. I just always find that kind of weird. Non-revisionist. What do I think of Jamie Davis's preseason? I think it didn't particularly show me a whole lot, and I've kind of just come to the conclusion that Jamie Davis is just a guy. He'll have some decent games, but mostly wasn't the first round pick for them. And he's got some legal troubles coming up. Let's see, in 3 days he's supposed to be before a judge again about doing 114 miles an hour. The judge rejected the prosecuting attorney's recommendation for 8 days in jail. Basically said it wasn't enough. So I think James looking at about 2 weeks. Maybe they postpone it till after the season. That wouldn't be unreasonable, but you never know. I mean, this judge has obviously got a burning desire to put James in jail and don't do 114. Will Terry play opening day? Asked Antoinette. Don't know. I know it's easy to be skeptical on this. It's 2 weeks. They don't know. They won't know until a day or so out, really. And then they'll try and test it that day to see. So, but they're playing Arizona, and they may think, well, we can win without him. Give him another week. Wouldn't surprise me. Joel Miller, what do you see the future of this team? I think it's bright. I think they have a lot of good potential players, better depth than they've had in years. Still need a few really good players. Everybody does. But, in the next couple of years, I think that they maybe can go it. One question that I haven't had a chance to ask Ron Rivera about that I think really encapsulates where they are. What's harder, getting a bad team to good or a good team to great? I know John Conn just fell off his chair getting me asking this. But getting a good team to great is the hardest thing. And in the NFL, they set you up to go from bad to decent. That's just the NFL way with the draft and free agency and all that. And that more teams that contend, the better the ratings, more money. Getting to the great part is the hardest part. Look at the Buffalo Bills. They've had a great team. They can't punch through. These kind of things are hard. And I don't know that this team, might need another coach to punch through to the great part. I don't know if that's EB because EB hasn't been a head coach. So we'll see. But I think the future is brighter than it has been. Michael said, I see Colt McCoy was cut. Yeah, boy, did that surprise me. I'd already written a week one preview about that. I was quite surprised by Colt. And they have a couple of young guys in Arizona. I guess they thought, if we're going to lose, let's just go ahead and develop them. And they're tanking for Caleb anyway. So I thought that was really interesting. We'll see if Colt will show up somewhere. But Colt probably won't be picked up right away because if you're a vested veteran in the league, 4 years or more, and you're on somebody's opening day roster, you get paid for the whole season. I don't care if they cut you tomorrow. So teams stay away from veterans like them for a week. Week 2, you pick them up, you pay him for as many games as he's with you. So there's a lot of financial things that go into there. Do I see the team changing back to the Redskins? Asked Joel. No, I know people talk about it. Well, I just don't see it happening. I don't even know if they're going to change the name. We'll see. It's a lot of wishful thinking. It's not something I'm really worried about right now. Share 606 thinks the future looks bright. There you go. Will Kramer, what are the new rules for vets on the practice squad? I'm still trying to sort that out, to be honest. Because what is the practice squad now? 16 guys. I was sitting there thinking they'll have um, like 70 some guys, I think, under contract. That's a lot of guys. Used to be 45. Now they're up to 70. That's a lot of guys. That's why I can't park inside the parking lot at Commander's Park anymore. There's no parking anymore for us. We're out in the field because there's just no space. At least not until they build a new place. We'll see what happens then. Robert, so what happened with Brandon Daniels, who takes his place on the O line? Well, he had a torn rotator, so that's why he's out for the year. Torn rotator cuffs. If any of you have had them or painful, I had a strained one. It hurt. It basically rotator cuff injuries are for men in their 30s who think they're 18. They pick up heavy stuff not realizing, and wham, there you go. Now I'm sure with him it was probably pushing and shoving in a line that it went, but it's a nasty injury. Hurts really bad. If you've had a torn rotator cuff, it's like you wake up in the middle of the night and you think someone has stuck a knife all the way down into your shoulder. It happened to me in my 30s, and it hurts, and it's going to hurt for about 6 months. And even if they do surgery, it's like that. So I'm not sure who's on his low line yet spot, but I don't know. I didn't see anything this summer that made me go, oh, he's going to be great. All right, Bob's here. Thanks. Not that really that late. We're just getting going. Where's everybody else? Alex is here. Hi. Sean, what are your thoughts on the progress of Diami Brown? Can he become a threat? They can make him one if they wish. I think right now he's fourth on the depth chart. He'll get a couple chances here and there, but he's not going to get 6 or 8 chances like that. Which Chase Young status? Charles asked. Good question. And I thought it was very telling on Saturday night that Rivera was asked, "What's up with Chase's doctor's appointment that was supposed to have been the day before?" And Rivera said, "Hey, I just want to focus on the game right now." Okay, that's interesting. I mean, stinger injuries. If anybody's had that, it's basically your nerves got smashed and it hurt. And nerve injuries can be tough. You like think he's tough enough to get past it. But I've learned with injuries and ball players, they're pretty tough guys. Stuff that you and I could never handle, they do. I mean, as a baseline. So I don't like to criticize guys about pain. Pain hurts. I mean, a nerve injury, man, it can really hurt. So we'll see. But I thought that was really interesting that Rivera ducked the question. And the team is well, it's got a couple of days off, so we won't really see anything about them till Wednesday, I believe. Non-revisionist. Should Washington be worried about Trey Lance being a Cowboy? Not really. He hasn't shown anything yet. I mean, okay, you take a flyer on the guy, but I don't know. If they get something out of that, they're lucky. Was I surprised that the Cardinals cut Colt McCoy? Asked Cal. So, yeah, I just talked about it a minute ago. I was quite surprised. But they had 2 young quarterbacks. I guess they figured, hey, we're going to lose anyway. We might as well develop them. And Kyler Murray wasn't put on the injury reserve, which means he's going to be eligible after 4 weeks to return. I don't know if he will, but I guess they sense he'll be back sooner. And they don't really want to win because they want to go for Caleb for next year's draft. So I guess it makes sense that Colt was cut under those circumstances. Let's see. Mutib. Oh, yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Would I be surprised if Hal ends up being bad? Well, if let's say the O line gets decimated by injuries and everybody just rushes him all the time, then everybody's going to look bad. But I would be surprised, given a fair chance, that I'd be surprised if Hal wasn't at least decent. Share 606 wants to just go ahead and release Chase. Nah, I wouldn't do that yet. Like I said, they deal with a lot of pain. Joel, did Jake Fromm quarterback play for the Giants against us? Gosh, I don't remember that. I think he did, but I don't know. I don't remember that. Okay. Although Alex says yes, he did. So I'll take your word for it. What do I think of Ron's comments on not knowing how good Hal was? Will Kramer. Yeah, I know he's kind of downplaying that a little bit, but Ron better hope he's awful good. Because if he's not, Ron won't be here. I can tell you that. They'll clean house. He basically, set sail with this quarterback. So quarterbacks get coaches fired more than anything. So they won't fire Sam, but they get rid of coach. Gatorade, think of champions. Um, all right, so all right, call up to you. So all right, average person watches this show for 10 minutes or so. So I rotate through the same stuff at times. So bear with me. On the whiteboard, get the commandpost.com. Code is Rick. And as for the magazine, we went to press today with the season opener. Yeah, I didn't quite crop it right for this because it's just being printed now, like now. So, but this is what the cover looks like. And you can see a big story. We have a 3-page spread about the new owners, things like that. And it's a great magazine, comes out a few times a year, and you like 24 pages. It's all about positive commander stuff. So go to getthecommandpost.com and use the code Rick on there. All right. Best Gatorade flavor, Alex asks. They all kind of taste the same, to be honest. I mean, I even drink the blue one just for the heck of it. It doesn't taste much different, but I would say the grape, maybe, or the fruit punch. But when I was growing up, all we had was the green, the full strength green. And we thought that was awesome. Now I drink the Gatorade Zero because it has that much sugar in it. And of course, everybody knows, right? Developed for the University of Florida people, which are the Gators, that ages the Gators, Gatorade. It's a true story. Who knew that? Steve, thank you so much for kicking in on this. I appreciate it. Cool shirt. Did my wife buy that one too? Actually, my wife made this one where I am the grandfather, and that doesn't look like me, but okay, whatever. And I have 4 grandkids now, so they're all on the shirt. They were looking at it today. I took a couple of them to school, and they were, oh, look at me. Lemon lime. It's all right, Alex. Anything with cucumber. Who has cucumber Gatorade, Charles? I haven't seen that one, but I only drink the Zero now, so maybe the full strength has it. Ooh, cucumber Gatorade. Suzanne, I subscribed when it was Warpath. Yep. Now, it used to be called Warpath. Now it's called Command Post. So thank you so much, Suzanne, for subscribing. We appreciate it. Not many of these papers left, and they're fading quick. In our case, we lost our printer. They closed down. Postal rates are going crazy. Things like that. It's hard to stay in business. I'm surprised they didn't, but they're determined to keep going. So that's why we try to sell a few subscriptions. And if you want to hit the thanks button now, to try and that $ below me, it helps me do the show because, quite frankly, I got plenty to do. And even in semi-retirement, it seems, I'm still busy. And it shows me that people appreciate my time. Otherwise I can just go watch TV. And if you want to talk to an insider who's at the park, who knows this stuff, has been around forever. I'm the oldest sports writer in town in service time in 45 years. That's what you're getting here. So throw $2, $5, whatever. Come on, it's not going to kill you. I hate sound like a whore. So I appreciate when people chip in. Okay, Joel, do I think the NFC East going back to old style tight division? Yeah, I think Philly will come down a game or two. Dallas is Dallas. The Giants, I think, might come back a game or two. And so Washington, I think, can at least be third. And that third might be good enough for a wild card. I'm picking them 10-7. I'll be optimistic, 10-7. Probably should say 8 or 9, but I'm going to go 10. What the heck? It's before the season. Plenty of time to be frustrated and angry later. So, I'll start off good. The man is on. Okay, I remember in 2020 having the same D lineman and not fully trusting them as good quarterbacks beat them down. Yeah, here's my big fear: is this defense played only once in the first preseason game, and it looked horrible. And then they had a month off, and I just remember years where they were supposed to be so good and they got run early in the season. I also think, two other things. One, Ben Standig had a really good point the other day. He says, why don't they just take off the first game and play the other two? And that way they're closer to the opening day, a little more rhythm. That's so simple. It's brilliant. So I would do that, so that kind of thing. And I also don't think Eric Bieniemy or Del Rio are going to show their real game plans in Arizona. They got to save them for week 3 against Buffalo. Because they play Arizona, they can probably beat them on a basic system. Playing Denver probably can do it almost the same. But week 3, Buffalo, you better be ready. Now, there's really not much to hide offensively. You got a few trick plays. That's all. Defense, though, can hide things much better. And I think that's when they really pull out their whole game books and do it against Buffalo. That's just my idea. Let's see. Oh, and Dennis Tuttle is here. He says, I'm here to promote my piece. Uh, he writes for the command post, and I put him in the back of the paper. So if you get tired of looking your thumbs and turning the pages, you'll never get to Dennis's column. But it is there. It's a good read for Commander stands. Does making the playoffs keep Ron's job? Asked Will. Asked this all the time. I would say probably yes. Sort of like it did for Ron. I'm sorry, for Norv. Same thing for him. He did. And he kept his job till almost all the way through the next year. And then Snider fired him. How far does this team need to go? Asked Greg. To save Ron. Man, you guys are worried about Ron. Um, I wouldn't worry too much about Ron at this point. He'll be fine. We'll just see. The man, thank you so much for the compliment. Appreciate it. I get emails all the time from these betting services and their odds and all this stuff. I talk about them now and then, this content. So from betonline.ag, who's the first quarterback to be benched this season? Number 1 at 2-1 is Baker Mayfield. Okay, I can see that. But number 2 at 4-1 is Sam Howell. I don't think so. I would bet against that. Ryan Tannehill's third. I might go there. CJ Stroud, they'll probably hold on to. Mac Jones, that might be one too. I mean, Desmond Ritter, maybe. Last guy at 1,000-1, Patrick Mahomes. Man, you hit on that, baby. You have insider info. You hit that one. All right. Let's see. Slam and Jammin's here. Okay, good. He thinks over 6.5 for the Commanders is an easy bet. I agree with you there. I think 7 also is the bottom number. Could be 7, 8, 9, 10. But man, if they go 6 and 11, and they haven't been decimated by injuries, they just got their butts whipped, I'd be kind of surprised by that. I mean, listen, how many times have we seen seasons lost in the early weeks because of injuries? I mean, it does happen. That's why you have so many people. That's why I have such big practice squads now. The 17-game schedule is really a grind. And, they're going to go to 18 next TV time. You watch. They'll do it. If they cut it to 2 preseason games, that'd be even better. Preseason games are just useless anymore. So I don't even know why you even bother using them anymore. It's just, well, I know why, because they make money. They sell tickets at full price. You got to pay them if you want a season ticket. But you're just screwing fans. You're not giving them anything. That said, the Baltimore preseason game the Commanders won was a really good one. That was entertaining as any regular season game. And of course, all of you know, the Commanders finished 3-0, their first undefeated preseason since 2013, back when they were 4-0. Does that mean anything? No. I actually have to look it up. And I mean, there's been winless teams who won Super Bowls, and there's been undefeated teams that lost every game all season, like Detroit. I'm going to have to look that up this week if I have some time, see how that's all measured out. But no, it doesn't mean much. And Washington won some close games. I mean, that's what I liked about Fromm. Got 2 wins on the board at the end. You can't beat that. Suzanne thinks that Fromm was better than Brissett. In this production, yes. But if you ask me who's the better quarterback, it's Brissett. I'm watching him on the practice field all the time. Fromm will make some really nice passes. And we saw him in the games too. But in practice, I'll see some really nice passes. And then I'll see stuff that you go, "Ooh, what'd you do that for?" Poor decision. Man, it's just aggravating. And that's what keeps him from moving ahead, where Brissett doesn't do that as much. He's a little more measured and controlled. And he's got a limited upside, but it's not bad. So it'd just be a little more boring than if Howell plays. Howell's going to throw the ball all over the field. Maybe not successfully. There's going to be days when you're thinking, bench him. But like if they lose the opener, everybody will say that, but it's not true. Let's see. Michael says he got a free case of turf toe with the purchase of a meaningless preseason game. Nobody's calling it turf toe yet on Terry McLaurin. It may be, but they're not calling it that at this point. I could see Terry maybe missing the first Arizona game. You'd like to think you can win this without firing all your cannons, but I mean, I don't know. I have a bad feeling they could lose that game too. But and if they do, woo, we're going to have an interesting night talking about that. But I think they like to think that they can get by without Terry if they wanted to in that opener. Dotson looking strong. Samuel can do the job. Brown's there. And they've got a very good um, receiver core. As good as pretty much most teams in the league. So, I'm catching up a little late on the crowd tonight. Not quite so many questions. Probably 25 minutes in. So we're almost halfway. So if you're just joining me or if you're watching on replay, thanks for coming. Pretty much as many people watch on replay as watch live. A lot of Europeans actually watch on replay because it's in the middle of the night there. So I do appreciate everybody who comes by. And like I said, if you can go to the whiteboard, get to commandpost.com, which I've talked about in the show quite twice. Or if you want to hit the thanks button, things like that, because there's nobody paying me to be here. I'm not working for a paper that says do an hour as part of your job. This is just me volunteering for you. So I'd like to think people want to give back a little bit, throw a few dollars on the plate. Think of it as your charity case of a sports writer. And this way I don't have to sound like a whore and keep begging for money. Antoinette hopes they keep 3 quarterbacks. Yeah, I could see it. Personally, I mean, here's how it works. You got to have a quarterback. The third quarterback to play has to be on the 53 man at that time. He could be He could be one of the inactives, but ready to go play. And if your first 2 guys get hurt, then that third guy can go in, even though he's on that 8-man inactive list. But if he does, the other guys can't come back. So it's a little dangerous. Let's say your first guy goes down, second guy gets hurt, needs a minute. He's not really badly hurt, but maybe he got the wind knocked out of him, something. And you go, well, put the third guy in, but then you can't bring the second guy back. So at that point, maybe you always have another player on the team who played high school quarterback because they're all great athletes. You make him go do that for a few snaps until 2 is ready again. So you don't put 3 in unless you really have to. And I think if you played Fromm, I think he'd be okay. He won't light up the world against the starters versus the backups he's been playing against, but he's okay. I've seen worse, seen a lot worse. We've all seen a lot worse than this, Beck, things like that. I mean, so listen, it wouldn't be any worse than that. Will, can understand not going back to the Redskins. Why can't the team bring back in the Indian head? Well, because it's still all part of the Native American stuff, and nobody just wants to deal with it. Pretty much. Now I know there's that list of 100,000 people that signed a petition. We'll see. I'm not casting aspersions on it, but I'd like to see that vetted out. But it's not going to matter. All right. If we don't put up 50 week 1, Ron needs to be relieved of his duties. Wouldn't that be EB if we had to be talking like this? EB is the offensive coordinator calling plays, not Ron. So we got the wrong guy. Sorry. Johnny Boy, 26. Cowboys are going to implode this year. They want to win more than 7 games. I'm all for that, but I haven't studied them enough yet to say. But I don't know. They always seem to be around 500 or so. The NFL looks out for people at times. The man, I think the best comp for Terry is Larry Fitzgerald with a little more speed. That's interesting. I could see physically a lot of that, even numbers. So, I would say it's a fair comp on there. Good job on that. Caught up to it. All right, here we are halfway through the show. Also, my podcast, Seasons of Discontent with my buddy Matt, is returning tomorrow. I know some of you have asked about it. Matt's been busy. We were going to do it today, but his little boy started school. So we'll start it tomorrow. So Seasons of Discontent will be out there. It's only 15 minutes. So, all right, Honest Brute. See, Honest Brute's got the right idea. It's just a couple bucks, but it's a show of charity and respect. Now, lawnmower fund, because gas is still expensive. You got that right. It cost me, I have 3 acres. It cost me gee, about 12, $15 to cut grass. And I've had to cut it all every week this summer. Just grows. I found out that I live on an old farm that was years ago. So must ground grows. My garden was great. I'm entering my pumpkins in the county fair. I don't, if I even get an honorable mention, I'll be happy. Corn was great. It's gone now. Sunflowers are doing well. So, and the grass grows like nuts. I could cut grass every 3 days. I'm not going to, but I could. And later this week, I'm actually taking 2 days off. I don't know if I'll have any videos up or not, maybe. But I'm taking 2 days off, and my wife and I are going out of town. And it's the only time I've been away all year. So, the team is not practicing near the end of the week. Matter of fact, let's go down the schedule this week while I have it here. They mailed it to me. Okay, so for the Commanders, they gave them a few days off, like most teams, get through the cuts, all that kind of stuff. Thursday, they are practicing. So they're off till Thursday. They practice Thursday, and then Friday, players are off Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So he gave them 4 days off there, just to kind of let them rest and not beat them up to death, and then hit the regular season. So everybody gets a few days off, including me. Why not? I'm supposed to be retiring, but that doesn't seem to be happening. I like working too much. It only costs $1 to cut your grass, Johnny. What we got? Got a townhouse with a .05 acre. Michael Williams will be the fourth back if they keep four. Probably. I mean, I know they like him a lot. Teresa Scuro. I know I blew that, but okay. So Patterson's cut means what to the overall running back plan? Will they carry more than three? Well, I kind of agree. You got Robinson, you got Chris Rodriguez, and you've got Gibson. So there's your three. And Williams would probably be the fourth, which means that Allen is not that. I don't see Allen making the team on there. Suzanne, thank you so much. I'll take a buck. I guess, I'm coming a exotic dancer or something. It's usually a buck, keep my shirt on, not take off. But that's when I was kidding about going on OnlyFans, and then I found out you had to be naked or whatever to be on OnlyFans, and so people would pay me not to be that on OnlyFans. All right, Mojo Daddy, what do you think of the reworked fight song? You know what? I didn't hear it last week for some reason, because before I just wrote, "Please God, stop playing this old song. It just sounds like somebody being murdered." And I people said they liked the better one. I'm gonna have to listen to it. For some reason I missed it. I don't know why. I guess, but anything was better than that funeral dirge that they turned it into. Oh God! So I look forward to hearing what the new one is on there. I guess I should have paid better attention, but I don't know. They scored. I'm looking at other things. Charles, how about a split with Philly and Dallas and sweeping New York? Yeah, give us the East. Well, 4-2, and you split with two of them. I mean, technically, somebody could be 5-1, and maybe even four. If somebody else is 4-2, theoretically, and see how the tiebreakers go. So could. All right, Zachary, Tinsley or Milne? Tinsley. Milne's shown you what he's got, which is very limited end of the roster ability. Tinsley could be more than that. So I would go with Tinsley. I was a little surprised Marcus Kemp didn't make the team because I thought he had a nice camp, and it's a nice looking player watching him in practice. But sometimes, maybe they bring him back to the practice squad. All right, Mojo, can you put your left hand up? Okay. Is there a reason you want to see my left hand up, or is it that song? It looks like my right hand, just backwards, as far as I know. I could put them around my neck, but that's what I do to my grandsons. You might have seen my video yesterday. My grandson, 8-year-old, loves YouTube. He wanted to be on it. I was doing a video, and he walked behind me just to be in the back of the video at the last second. But he's like, "Come on, do one with me." So I got him a Messi soccer jersey because he loves Messi soccer. But He was behind me in a video. I shot a short one so he could be in it. He loves that stuff. So I was like, all right. And actually, a lot of you watched it. So makes him happy. I think like 4,000 people watched the video. And he was like, yeah, to him, that sounds great. Uh, some of the videos I shoot, like 20,000 or more. Sometimes they get bigger than that. I had one that did like a 500,000 or something like that, crazy. Well, the Sean Taylor statue one I did live from the unveiling, God, I think that did several 100,000. Everybody was like, "What?" Like me. When they pulled that tarp off of the whatever you want to call that thing, man, the room went silent, and people like me were sitting there going, "What am I looking at? This can't be it. Are they punking us?" No, that was really the Sean Taylor tribute. It was awful. So everybody kind of went, "What?" We all went. I mean, because they were going 21, 21 on the concourse. It was a big crowd. It was stone silent for a moment because everybody just couldn't process what were they looking at. You're looking at like a Model Sporting Goods one. I hope the new stadium they do some statues on there. There's enough guys you could have a statue park, but it's also going to be new technologies, and so maybe you do some 5G or 10G as they're now calling stuff to do some new things like have Daryl Green run, the 40, and see how fast that is using the high speed internet stuff. Suzanne, the memorial to Shaw was a disgrace. Yeah, it was. Was that pure Dan? I don't know if that was Dan as much as other people that came up with what you saw. And it wasn't enough attention paid to detail, among other things. Now, if you've seen the Ray Lewis statue in front of the Raven Stadium, that's a statue. That's Ray. I saw a 30 on 30 about the 2000 Baltimore Ravens championship. That was really good. If you catch that on TV, that was well worth watching. I covered that game. I remember them. There was a lot of great players on that team, and they had was that the one that had Trent Dilfer as a quarterback, and he actually played well that day. But it just shows you don't have to have a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Okay, Johnny, what would you consider a successful season record-wise for the team? 10 wins. Do you think Rivera and staff is the right group to guide and lead the team? I think it wouldn't hurt to have new blood. Doesn't mean it's going to be better. Be careful what you wish for, But I think for them to get to the next level, you may have to change some things. Michael Ray Lewis is a murderer. Okay, and certainly Sean was murdered. Um, Ray, there's no court that says that, Michael. So at this point, I just have to move on with life. Now, having said that, I had a brother-in-law murdered by a drunk off-duty cop 30 some years ago. I haven't gotten over it. And it did nothing to the cop. Mojo Daddy, thank you so much for chipping in. I appreciate it. Does Joe Gibbs have a new role on the team? No. Now he just comes by to support things, but he's not involved. I mean, I'm sure if they want to ask his opinion on something, he'll tell them, but that's all. Johnny, do I see EB becoming a head coach and move Ryan to the front office? No, I keep hearing this all the time, and I do not see this at this point. For one thing, we haven't seen any EB do anything here yet, so I yell at people. So let's let some things play out before we do that. I don't see Ron really wanting to be moved into the front office either. I think Ron would retire. So I don't see this scenario. I know everybody brings it up. I don't really see it. Tay Massey, do I think Kaz makes the team? No, I think he makes the practice squad. I mean, he's got good speed. The problem is what he does best, the NFL just screwed, which is the kick returner. If you fair catch, it goes to the 25 outside of the end zone. So why wouldn't you just fair catch? Why would you run it back? So they diminished the position, and he's not going to be one of the receivers. So what are you keeping him on a team for? You got other guys that can do punts. Is it true players are off this week? Not completely, League Commander, but I was just reading this a few minutes ago. They're off. They're practicing Wednesday, and then pretty much I think they're off until next Tuesday. So they get like 4 or 5 days off. It's okay. They've been out there in the hot sun since late July. They get a few days to go home, basically, because for a lot of people, they don't live here. This is a few days to go home and see family that you won't see again until February. So I don't hold that against them at all. Go home and see your family for a few days. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, everybody else gets vacation time. And bye weeks, team usually gets most of the week off too, and that happens. But this bye comes early December, so by then you're so beat up you can't go anywhere. You might as well just wait, go on vacation after the season at that point. Woo Woodrow, okay. We'll win 11 or 12 if they can stay healthy. Well, if they can stay healthy, maybe get a little luck. Sure. Week one will be 24 years in the making. Home field advantage, says Mojo. Yeah, absolutely, the home field advantage. Now, if the place sold out, I know people are talking it sold out. That's a relative term because there are numbers and numbers. Um, but it'll be a big home field advantage. Let's see. Tomorrow is the final cut day. Kevin says, "Yep." We'll find out tomorrow what goes on. How many running backs are they carrying this season? Van Guardian asked. Uh, I think four. Four. So they'll keep the same four they had last year. Cardinals and Bills games almost sold out, says Alex. Okay, well, I mean, upper deck and everything. I don't know. All the expensive seats. We'll see. I mean, the Bills Mafia, I'm sure, is coming down and taking half the stadium. If they only take half the stadium, that's an improvement because in the past few years, they would have had like 75, 80% of the stadium. Mojo, did Jared Patterson remind me of Ricky Irvins? That was a really interesting thing because you know what? Ricky Irvin sits about 4 chairs down from me at games because he's an NFL spotter for things. So I still see him all the time. Um, I think Ricky was better. I'll say that. Johnny, did you play? Did I play football at some point? The screen just went crazy. Or how did I become a fan of the team? Well, I grew up in Washington. I'm a sixth generation Washingtonian. So who else should be rooting for? The Cowboys? I mean, not my day. So, you watched the team that was local. Now you have choices, but you didn't then. So my father thought football was stupid. He was a baseball fan. So I didn't get it from him. But, my goal was never to cover this team as a young reporter. I was covering horse racing for a few years, really loved it. But in the end, I got moved, and then I figured out this is where the money is. If you want to be a reporter and make some dough covering something like this, so that's why I moved over to it. And it's been 30 years regularly, 40 years overall. I spent a few years being the young guy that helped out, but for a good 30, I've been out there all the time. Okay. On a different topic, what are my thoughts on Steven Strasburg? Hall of Fame? Has never give up. Absolutely not for the Hall of Fame. Good career, sidelined by injuries. If he had been healthy, maybe he could have been a Hall of Famer. When he had his good stuff, man, he was something to watch. You always watch Strasburg's pick, just like you always watch Bryce Harper hit, because you knew you might see something amazing. And he had, I feel sorry for Steven because he's got major nerve problems, a thoracic thing, which is like right here. And they've taken bones and ribs out to try and keep off the nerves. And it really sounds miserable. And I don't know how it gets better. I hope it does. So I don't begrudge him the money because I didn't pay him the money. What do I care? Um, but certainly a very good player. But, somebody say, oh, he's the face of the franchise. Like, no, that's Ryan Zimmerman is the face. Ryan Zimmerman played 10 times more games than Steven did. Okay. It's hard for a pitcher to be that guy. Lead commander, could Logan Thomas play today if it was a real game? I think so. I saw him out on the field last week doing, footwork and stuff like that. So I think so. But he always seemed, cautious. Steve, am I aware of any skins that were cut or traded that held a grudge as bad as Sam Huff against the Giants? No, because back a different era, and Sam was really mad because Sam told me the story one day because he and I were good friends. He said, I heard I might be traded. I go talk to the coach, Ali Sherman. He says, nah, you're fine. Go eat lunch. Come on back. We'll talk about stuff. Sam goes at lunch. Everybody's telling him, hey, Sam, you've been traded. He goes, no, they just told me. So he goes back to the place after lunch and they go, yep, you've been traded. And he just hated being lied to like that. And he held that grudge till his dying day. Anybody on the current team? Not that I've heard. And it's business now. It's not the same thing. Players don't fall in love with teams as much. And Sam had a great thing going in New York. I mean, he shared a locker with Mickey Mantle. I mean, he loved New York. He was happy to be here, but New York was his real love. David, is the team doing anything to get former players back involved? Yeah, they are. And I think the Buffalo game, I don't know if that's the homecoming, but I know there's going to be a lot of them around for that game. They're definitely trying to do something. Now, they're still formulating how all that works. I'm not sure they're handing out Letterman jackets anymore. But yeah, Josh Harris was a fan growing up. I know so was Dan Snider. So when you hear those words, you wonder. But no, I think we're going to see more of the old guys around some, which would be great. John, how long have I been doing walking towards the DC, and how did I get started? Started 13 years ago. Went to a tour guide school back then. You had to pass a test by the city, which you no longer do. And just I love DC. I love going on the walking tours. It pays well. I get my steps in. I mean, it's all to meet nice people. It's all good. I can do anything you want. So if you're coming to Washington, like somebody is a fan, is coming the day before the opener from out of town. We're going on tour. A lot of people do, and they come in Saturday. They want to see DC. I can take you around. Um, just go to monumentalthoughts.com or email me through here, whatever. We can talk about it. So I enjoy it. I've got a book coming out about presidents and drinking in D.C., all the way back to George Washington. And all the presidents, their favorite drinks. Like that's going to be out around Christmas, I think. Try to do something besides football as a book. I've written other books. All right, GB, national TV rate is last in the division. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know how to answer that one, to be honest. Alex says the alumni game's usually in October. Yeah, I got some message today about it. And I haven't read it much yet. I wonder the longest the turf toe injury lingers. Woodrow, all season, man. It's months and months. I mean, look at Dion. Dion's having surgery, remove part of his foot that he claims is related to his turf toe injuries. Man, I like Dion. He was a good guy. The year he was here, I greatly enjoyed covering him in 2000. I hate to see anybody have to go through that. So I wish him the best. But turf toe is a nasty injury. Charles is a world class guy, but he should move on, says Mojo. Well, they don't have anybody better at the moment, or they would. Let's see. You have to have a 3-13 season to get a top left tackle. Well, that's how they got Trent. I think Trent was like 4th overall pick. So I forget the year now, but I think he was 4th. Yeah, it's hard to get. They were looking at him, but I think the top 4 offensive tackles in this year's draft were off the board by the time Washington picked. So, what do you want? The 5th best guy with your first round pick? I don't think so. Lee Commander, am I attending the season kickoff party at Franklin Park? Nah, got things to do. That's for you guys. Is parking free at FedEx on opening day? That's when I ask. No, no. But you can buy it online. I think it's 40 or 50 bucks. So just go online and get it. Justin, what would I consider satisfactory for Chase Young? 8 sacks. That'd be my over-under. You get less than 8 sacks. I don't see them re-signing Chase next year. But you change coaches. That next guy may want Chase and figure I can make it work. Let's pay him whatever. See, that's why you can't answer this question now. What's the best way to reach me on tours? Christy, if you direct message me or just shout at me on Twitter, that's the easiest way to do it. But you can go to monumentalthoughts@gmail.com. So monumentalthoughts@gmail.com. Do not send me questions about football. I won't answer them because I can't give you guys 100% of my time. I'll go broke. But if you want to go on tour, that's my tour guide email, monumentalthoughts@gmail.com. And I'll be glad to talk to you about it. Daniel. Oh, boy, Daniel, I haven't seen you in a while. So glad to see you back for the season. Hope you're doing well. Never give up. What a contrast Harris seems to be. Yeah, this is like the good guy. I mean, he may be a good guy. I haven't been around enough to tell you a whole lot, but um, you know, let's hope so because we've had the bad guy for long enough. Matter of fact, it's been a while since I talked about this. For all you new people watching the show, here's the cover coming out of Command Post magazine, which is on the press as we talk. So it's going to be mailed tomorrow, I guess. And it's a season preview issue. So it's a tabloid, 24 pages, comes out a bunch of times during the year, and you can get your copy by going to Get the Command Post and use the code Rick on there. Appreciate it. And if you're a diehard fan, you'll enjoy it. I've written for it for 30 plus years now. So there's not many of them left. We're still trying to eke out some more seasons, and the world's changing in journalism. 50 sacks from that line or bust. Okay, Michael, bust. You're not getting 50 sacks out of this line. Just not. So, but what's the number going to be? Oh, let's say you get 15 from your combined from your two tackles this year, and you get, well, let's say 18 from your ends. So that's 33. And some of the backups get a few. So maybe, I don't know, maybe 40, but I don't see 50. 40 would be pretty good. Steve, thank you so much for chipping in. I appreciate it. Everybody, see, it's real easy to do. Harris is certainly willing to shake hands anywhere, anytime. Well, I know they made fun about the Troy and Buck interview. I didn't see it as any big deal. I mean, he's a businessman. He's used to doing it. It's not a big deal. I don't know why everybody's even talking about it. A new cocky, a new Nucky. I don't know, the shiny ones. I think Khalid should start in front of Jamin. There's not a lot of difference, and one guy's a first rounder and one guy's not. So that says something right there. I don't know. Jamin's has been underperforming to expectations. And I know Ron likes to try and defend it at times, but let's all be honest, it hasn't been a good pick on there. Best place to go on Labor Day, Antoinette. I don't know, depends on where you want to go. But beach is always nice, but then you got to fight a million people to get back. So whatever makes you happy, go there. I don't know where I'll be on Labor Day. I hadn't thought about it. I'm going to Lancaster for a couple of days to see the Amish, which I live in an Amish community area in Southern Maryland. There's like 400 Amish within 5 miles of me. But my wife wants to go to Lancaster, so okay. I'm just glad to go away for a couple of days. We used to travel all the time before COVID, and starting next year, we will again. Watermelon Island, never heard of that, Daniel. Where's that? Um, Sitchins, I don't know. Shiny ones, I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, we're finishing up. Last few minutes. Put in your last questions and send your last dollar. How about that? To hit that dollar sign, send this out. I mean, it's got to be honest. The production on this show has not done very well in recent times. Don't make much money here, so I do appreciate anything. That's why I give you my time for free. So at least hit the thumbs up button. Do that for me. If you can't do anything else, you ungrateful bunch, hit the thumbs up button. Don't hit the thumbs down button or I won't do the show. But thumbs up button makes the algorithm happy. I personally don't care, but the algorithm should be happy. So just hit the thumbs up button if nothing else. Lead Commander, go to Shady Maples Restaurant in Lancaster. Okay, I'll put that down on the list. Daniel, on the border of Virginia and West Virginia. Okay, all right. Oh, okay. That's a nice area. Did they reduce capacity at FedEx? Alex asked. Don't think so. They just, I mean, it's hard to tear out seats. There used to be this thing about TV and blackout rules and all that, but that's so much BS. For one thing, when they talk about blackout rules for capacity crowd at FedEx, it's whatever your stadium's opening capacity was opening day. Okay, and I think it was 61,000 that year. That was, even though they got to 90,000, 61 was the one. And premium seats don't count against that either. So it's like, I don't know, 40,000, something like that. So sometimes teams even buy up tickets just to have them bought. So the TV, everybody wants to be blacked out. I mean, does that happen anymore? Great Labor Day trip, Old Northeast Maryland. I have been there. Dennis was talking about, God, Dennis is still doing this? Whew. All right, Dennis, I know you're still watching. Elk Neck State Park. Okay. So if Dennis can make it there, you can make it there because he's just a lazy old man. Daniel, I just Googled the Watermelon Park. It's in Berryville. Oh, okay. That's where some other people I know live. Berryville. That's a long ways too. Okay. And Dennis says, oh, he was drinking, I guess, so Lighthouse, not Light Tower. Whatever. Gettysburg's a nice place to go too. I like that. And then Antietam, if you like battlefields, Antietam's battlefield, small town, is mind blowing to go see. I don't do tours of battlefields because I don't know enough, but it's pretty cool. And Michael's out where John Kime lives. John's got a big dog in case you want to come by. So, all right, what we got? 5 minutes. All right. Wow, the hour went by quick. I'll give it that. So don't forget your assignment. Subscribe to, right after we get done here, Command Post. And this is our cover. It'll be out tomorrow. And a lot of writers, it's not just me, there's a bunch of guys who cover the team for years are writing about it. Didn't have one from Tom Rivera this time. First time he's missed because Tom was in Spain at the bullfights today. So good for him. I don't know if I'd like to see a bullfight or not. It looks interesting. I've read Hemingway. But then again, I feel bad about the poor animal being slaughtered the cheap way they do. They basically stab it to death and bleed it out before the matador gets to finish it off. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a fair fight. Let's see. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate it. You still got that part with the giant buried. Charles is talking about that. It used to be East Potomac Park, I think, or West. It's now over at National Harbor. They moved it years ago. The artist sold it. It was only on loan to the city, and they gave him, I want to say, $700,000 for it. And so it's over at National Harbor, right by the water. And when the when the river goes really high, the guy drowns. The water's over top of the head and all, because it's like the face coming out of the sand, and so he gets buried with water and drowns. It's funny to see. All right, Bob's got to go. I appreciate it. Me too. I've got 2 minutes. World Series matchup prediction. Alex asks, Baltimore. I'd love to see that. I feel, Orioles fans are like Redskins fans. You had to put up with all this nonsense for years and years. It deserves something nice. So I'll go Baltimore. National League, huh? Maybe Atlanta. Maybe they punch through and get it this time. Sure ain't going to be the Mets. Nats are ahead of them in the standings now. Never give up. Liking Sam Howell's prospects, so do I. Best since Kirk? Yeah, I think so. I would think so. Ryan, you just got here. Yeah, we're just finishing. But if you're watching and you want to see the whole show, it gets archived on YouTube within minutes, and then you're able to watch from the beginning again. That's the great part of this. And more people do that than watch live most times. So I do appreciate people coming by later. So that's what you have to do there. Well, I sit down and talk to Josh Harris, Antoinette asked. Maybe at some point, not high on my list at the very moment. And he's not really doing those interviews either. So we'll see, at some point. All right. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. All right. So let's wrap it up. There you go. Yep. The bell still here. Anyway, so Tuesday, Seasons of Discontent podcast will be up in the evening. My shows will be around as normal. Tomorrow's Cuts Day, so there'll be, a lot of news flying around on all that. So, just hang in there. We'll be on YouTube on and off during the days. Whenever something big comes up, I'll try and pop up. And this week should be quiet afterwards, because everybody's taking off for a few days. And then next week we hit it, and I'll try and stay on Mondays. All right, so we're done. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks you all, everyone, for coming. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.